Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be doing a detailed look at the possible thunderstorm outbreak across parts of the UK today, including the risk for some severe and intense thunderstorms, especially across Wales, the Midlands and southern England. So I'll start off by looking at my website here. This is the convective outlook that I made this morning, and if I just go into a new tab, you can see here that we've got a pretty interesting outlook across parts of the UK, and that is this big high risk zone across parts of the Midlands, Wales and southern England. That is a level 5 out of 5, so it's the highest level of thunderstorm forecast I can issue, and it basically means that in this zone some very active thunderstorms are likely during the afternoon. We've also got moderate and enhanced areas surrounding that as far north as northwest England, most of Wales, actually all of Wales, sorry, southern England, as you can see there. Thunderstorms possible in those areas as well. And they've got that black hatched line, which is showing where some of those thunderstorms may be severe, and especially today those severe thunderstorms are likely to contain very heavy rainfall, which leads to flooding and possibly some large hail. So that's why the severe risk has been issued. And then there is a risk for thunderstorms into parts of Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland and southern Scotland, northwest England there as well. So that's kind of the overview. I'm going to go a little bit more now into detail about the thunderstorms today. We'll start off by looking at the environment which is in place, and that's because the environment today is very supportive of some very active thunderstorms. This chart I'm showing you here is called the CAPE chart, which stands for Convectively Available Potential Energy, and that's pretty much a measure of the instability in the atmosphere which storms can use if they form. And anything above around 1,000 I would consider to be pretty notable in the UK. But today, as you can see, we've got those pink colours in place, which shows the CAPE getting to as high as 3,000 joules per kilogram, which is something I've almost never seen. I mean, locally, if you read the maximum number at the bottom, you can see getting to around 3,700 there. And so these numbers are almost unheard of in the UK, really. It's a very unusual setup, the amount of instability we've got today. And that instability means that when those storms do form, they're going to have a lot of energy and they're going to be very active. They're going to have powerful updrafts, which have rain, hail, and lots of lightning. And if I show you a different way of displaying this instability, which is slightly more advanced, but I think you can still understand it fairly easily. And this is a Skew Tea, or a sounding, which is basically showing a vertical kind of look. If you cut the atmosphere, it's kind of looking at that. So on the y-axis here, we've got the height going up in kilometers along those red numbers there. And then along the x-axis, this might seem a bit confusing, but we've got the temperature as well, and that temperature line is kind of slanted up like that. And then those also the x-axis also kind of marks the ground, if you like, and then going up vertically. And then the red line shows the temperature through these different heights, and then the green line shows the dew point. And then this dashed line shows kind of an imaginary parcel of air. And so essentially, let's say, just to give an example, if you want to know the temperature at 6 kilometers, you draw a line down there, you trace that down, and then you can see it's around -15. So that's how they work. And the reason that this is important for today is because you can compare this dashed line and the red line, and the area in between it is the instability. Because if you imagine the air is warmer than the surrounding air, then it's less dense, it rises. That rising motion helps us form storms, and it's kind of instability and that kind of thing. And so as you can see here, we've got a very large difference between the temperature of the parcel there and then the temperature of the actual kind of environment. And so that means the profile is very, very unstable. So that's showing there's a lot of CAPE available today, and in fact you can read down there 3,500 joules per kilogram, which is really exceptional for the UK. You usually only see these amounts in kind of mainland Europe and Asia and America. And then another thing we can look at lightning potential and how updrafts will form is this green line here. And usually, if the green line is all the way over here, it's going to be way too dry for storms to form, and the dry air gets mixed into the updraft and weakens it. And actually, on Saturday, that's what happened across eastern England. However, if the green line is right next to the red line for the entire kind of height of this chart, then what that means is that the profile is saturated, and that can reduce the lightning risk a little bit. And so what we've got here is pretty much the perfect Goldilocks zone of humidity. As you can see here, it's moist, but it's not too dry. And so this profile here is really kind of suggesting to me that any storms today will be very, very active for UK standards. And if I just show you another one here, same thing that I just talked about, lots of instability, and actually you can see there that one is showing 3,729 joules per kilogram of Cape, which is really, really exceptional. So a very high-end environment is in place today. And then if we talk about what might cause those storms to form, well, like Sunday and like Sunday, we don't have any upper level kind of ways to create lift and allow those storms to develop. So we're going to be relying on the surface features to help that. And what we've got today is we've got this little surface low, as you can see here. This is the observation chart. I'll put the link in the description. And you can see that little red L is showing where the surface low is. It's a very subtle surface low, but you might notice that the winds are kind of getting a little bit kind of mixed up in that area of the low. As you can see here, the winds are kind of coming all in different directions, and that means that as the afternoon progresses, we're going to have converging winds along this surface low. And if you remember, I think I talked about it in the last video, converging winds allows the air moves together, it bumps into each other, so the air wind kind of bumps into each other. The only direction it can go is up, and then we get rising motion and storms starting to form, like my kind of bad drawing there. So that convergence zone is going to be really important, and it probably means that storms will start to form along that zone during the afternoon. And if I show you the forecast wind map from the Arrow model, you can actually just about make out where we've got a couple of those convergence zones in place across the UK. So I think you can, our low is somewhere in there, and then you can see we've got somewhat of a convergence zone along there, and then some kind of very subtle convergence across parts of the south of England as well. And if I show you the UKV model, because that's kind of doing a bit of a better job displaying that convergence zone, you can see here on the UKV, you can see really easily see this is 4 o'clock. We've got lots of convergence down into Kent there, but then the main area is all across the Midlands and parts of Wales. So pretty much anywhere in that zone is going to get storms forming, and because of the environment, when those storms form, they're going to be very active. And so to put that all together, see what that might look like, let's take a look at the forecast radar by the Arome high resolution French model. And so you can see convergence zone in place there, convergence there, storms start to form, and you can see all that instability means they become very active. You can see those bright colours, those reds and kind of grey red colours there, indicating forecast very high rain rates, lots of lightning, possibility for hail as well, which I'll talk about in a moment. And you notice how towards the evening it kind of grows into one big cluster across Wales and the Midlands, and that could possibly be the sign of an MCS or a mesoscale convective system. So that's one possibility for the afternoon. And I just talked about the hail there. This is a kind of experimental forecast website by the ESSL, which I think is the European Severe Storms Laboratory, or laboratory, whatever it's called. But you can see here those kind of green and blue colours indicating that across this area during the afternoon, it is 12 to 3 o'clock, you can see there's a heightened risk of large hail. And this is, I think, computer generated and machine learning and that kind of stuff, but actually I've noticed that this has done a very good job in the past for identifying hail. And so any thunderstorms across kind of the Midlands, southern England into Wales, I do think probably have a chance of some large hail, maybe 2 to 3, possibly 4 centimeters, and that does make complete sense given the Cape is so strong, which means the thunderstorm updraft, the air moving up, will be very strong, which will allow it to carry hail and move up and down and carry heavy hail, which is large in size. And then finishing that off, we're going to look at some of the observations to see how it's kind of starting to play out, because it is approaching the early to mid-afternoon when storms are likely to form. And you can see here, first observation I'll show you is a different way of showing this chart here, and basically that's an observed version of this. So this is a model forecast, this is an observed version, and what we can do is we can change the surface temperature, which is a red line, and the surface dew point, which is the blue line, to what we've forecast. And I think the general kind of consensus is around 19 degrees dew point and 24 degrees temperature. And then notice how there's a very thick, kind of large, wide difference between the green dashed line and the red line. So that's showing that the Cape is already very large, likely across parts of the Midlands and southern England right now. And then taking a look at the observations for this is actually 1 minute ago per windy.com. You can see here we've got those kind of cumulus clouds starting to form, definitely a sign of the unstable atmosphere. And actually it looks like convection might have started just to the south of London there. And if I show you the weather radar, you can see number one, we've got thunderstorms across Scotland at the moment, but actually looks like we might have the beginning of our thunderstorm event starting to occur here, with a couple of thunderstorms moving towards London. Anyway, thank you so much for watching if you got this far, everyone. Potentially a big day of thunderstorms ahead, so if you're a storm lover, enjoy that, and otherwise I hope you stay dry if that's what you prefer. Anyways, thank you so much everyone, and have a great day.